Hey Thrive family, this is Dave Cook of 100 Pedals. I got to tell you, I am so excited that Pam has reached out to me and has put this in front of you, the Thrive 100-Day Recovery Challenge. I am so excited about this. I can't even tell you. It's been a dream of mine to see parents engage in a 100-day challenge to really focus on being able to change the patterns and the habits in their lives by doing something that they know is good for them. And it's focusing on your self-care and your recovery in the process. And we're going to talk, I think Pam has a plan on talking about to me later next week on this, but I wanted to post something and share with you a little bit to give you some food for thought. When I did the 100-day challenge over 10 years ago, the reason I did it is I had reached the all-time lowest point that I'd ever had been as a parent with my son and his addiction. And I knew that I needed to do something to change my life. And there's a long story behind it, and you can find it on my website. But the gist of it is that I love exercising. Exercising is good for me mentally, physically, psychologically, spiritually. And I was in a habit and a pattern in my brokenness and in my pain and in my struggle with my son that I wasn't doing that anymore. And that's the amazing thing, isn't it? That we know that there are things that give us energy and give us joy and refuel our tanks. And in the midst of this chaos of the struggles that we're having with our children, sometimes that's the first thing that we give up. We just don't have the time. We just don't have the energy. We just don't seem to be able to do it. We let go of the one thing that can help us, give us more strength, courage, and hope than anything else. And so that's what the 100-Day Challenge is all about, is to reconnect to those things those activities, behaviors, habits, whatever it is, that we know gives us energy. It's all about us, what recharges us, refuels us, reignites us. So when you start to think about your 100-day challenge and what you're going to do, that's really the thing I would like you to go deep. It's a real simple thing, is what is it, the activity? When I do this, it gives me the most joy, the most energy, the most happiness, whatever the word you want to use. That was what it is for cycling for me. I said, I just need to ride my bike more. And that's all I did, was got on my bike and rode for an hour a day for 100 days in a row. And that's what I would encourage you to do. Find that one activity that you know you need to start doing more of, or that one behavior that you need to engage in more. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about really quickly here is 3 things to think about. And we'll talk about this a lot more next week, but 3 things to think about. One is, whatever you choose to do, start out with something that you know you can do. My challenge was to ride my bike for an hour a day for 100 days in a row. If I was coaching, if I was Dave Cook today, coaching Dave Cook back then, I would have said, take the hour out of there. I'm going to ride my bike for 100 days in a row. Because by throwing in that hour, I'm risking the giving myself a challenge that's too much of a physical stretch to do. Fortunately for me, I'd been riding my bike enough. I had just ridden my bike enough, and I had enough conditioning and shape that an hour a day wasn't that tough. But if I'm asking myself to do something that I haven't done for a while, or I'm really not in shape for doing, or whatever it is, whatever the constraint may be, picking something super big to start out might crush me because it'll be too much. So just pick something simple. It can grow to something bigger, but start out with a step before you start taking many steps. The second thing is, and this is really important, plan on keeping a journal. Always write down where you're at the end of the activity or at the end of the day. Sit down with a piece of paper and a pencil and a notebook and just write out and say, this is what I learned today, or this is what I experienced today. I can promise you go, well, Dave, I don't know that I can do that every day. I got off that bike and I would start to write, and next thing I know, I'd have a page or 2. Some days I only had a paragraph. But it was really interesting. From a blank slate, I could write down stuff, and I started getting clarity, the stuff that came out of my head because I was removing the junk that was in the way. The activity cleared my head, allowed the space for me to release in words things that I was thinking, feeling, and needed to express. And then the last one is really focus. This is a 100-day challenge. I'm not going to kid you. It's 14 weeks and 2 days. So if I look at it like that, that's a huge mountain. So do 1 day at a time. We talk about recovery all the time. Imagine this, that, here's the challenge that we're giving to our children. We're challenging them to envision a life where where for the rest of their life, they're going to be sober. Wow, that's a tall order. So imagine you're going to say, I'm going to do something for 100 days in a row. 14 weeks and 2 days. That's a tall order. What do we tell our children? What is the treatment program saying, stuff like that? Recovery is 1 day at a time. Do the same. In that journal, when you're journaling, celebrate the victory of the day. Don't go 3 days down, 97 to go, 10 days down, 90 to go. Get out of that trap, because what's going to happen is you're going to keep track of how you're climbing the mountain, and you'll never see progress until you're almost at the end. And then it's like, easy. And I will tell you, when I got to like day 58, I caught myself and I said, 58 down, 42. It's like almost got tripped up. So because I started looking ahead, and because I got caught looking ahead, I almost got tripped up, because I still realized how much of that mountain I had to climb. Fortunately for me, I got back on the horse and just said, one day, tomorrow's another day. I did it. Here's the things I learned. Here's the things I experienced. Next day I ride. Hey, I did it. Here's the things I learned. Here's the things I experienced. And I started finding myself celebrating my daily victories and my daily lessons and my daily inspirations, and I got tremendous momentum. And at the end of the ride, I could look back at my journal, and I could look back at all the experiences. I could see how far I'd actually come. And that's what this is about. 1 day at a time. Keep it simple and keep track of your progress. I'm excited for you. I can't wait to see where this goes. And we're going to talk about this more, but I just wanted to give you a word of encouragement as you start to embark on, hey, what am I going to do with this Thrive 100-day recovery challenge? This is awesome. You're going to love it. And you're going to celebrate some incredible experiences. And also, too, because you're going to be doing this in community, you're going to be learning from a lot of other people who are doing the same thing. Peace and love to you all, and we'll talk about this later.